Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Well, fuck me sideways. Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line! You shall not pass!
Oh no, you did not shoot that green shit at me!
I have you now.
Watch the birdie!
Must go faster.
Inconceivable! Say hello to my little friend!
Come out, wherever you are.
Peekaboo!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! Don't try it!
Armor piercing, loaded.
Special delivery!
Target to...
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Gotcha, bitch!
Something is right. Sorry, guys. I'm having some major tech issues, some major technical issues on this end. Hopefully the sound is coming in. Let me know, guys, if the sound is not coming in, because everything's screwed up over here. I mean, seriously fucked up. Yeah, I like that. I like that, Chris. It was at this moment he fixed his issues. Speaking of things that are fixed, something is rolling in here. Oh, of course, now it doesn't freaking... You son of a bitch. I had this all preset, and now it's not working. Sorry, guys. Just got to give it a second. You're not going to hear anything in the background for a couple of minutes here. So I'm going through each of these. Okay. Sound and picture good, hopefully. Okay, it's running through its processes right now. Give it a few more seconds and I'll be able to actually do this, because, oh man, do I need this apple juice with ice in it today. I didn't even get one of the most important pictures up and running. And speaking of running, something is running up towards here. And he's pulling in. Hey, shut it off. Thank you. All right, it is Brian Kemp first with a $10 super chat, and he says, enjoyed the stories. Well, thank you. I'm glad you did. And I'm glad everybody who comments, everybody who lets me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, what I'm fucking up, what I should keep, and everything else, because I like making you guys the good stuff. All right. And let me see if I can adjust this here. Okay. Yeah, sure. Now the legs don't want to work. It's like my legs. They don't want to work sometimes in the morning. Thank you very much, Brian. Very much appreciated. And we got Skip up here saying, Sin, we've all been saying how great the stories are. Well, here's proof. The FYI, you hired humans. Are you insane? Well, that one, believe it or not, was only meant to be a one-parter that turned into a three-parter. And yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. I haven't actually looked at how many views that one got. I hope it did. And unfortunately, a lot of my stuff, I'm noticing that the AI channels are really, 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 really starting to dig into my stuff. And it's getting more than a little annoying. But what is not annoying is you beautiful people here are here with me. And thankfully, let me remove that. I should next week, that intro, I finally got it short enough where it will actually work next time. It wouldn't upload fast enough where I could use it. Hold on, I'm saying the magic word, but thankfully I found that sweet spot. I didn't want to shrink it too much. So thank you everybody for being here. FYI, Skip, I don't know if you actually heard the rules when it came to super chats. And the rule is, if you put in over $50 in super chats, you get an extra week. So even if you didn't super chat this week, you would have been good. Pure and simple. You still get your shout outs and all that other stuff, fun stuff. But if you put in a full bill within 1 week or at one time or however you want to do that, you get 6 weeks straight. I even got it here because I got somebody who's, man, he's high on Prozac and pancakes, I swear. Plus our wonderful where is it? Yep. Steve, he dropped some too. So they are actually ticking down. The one of them, I won't mention who, has got double digits. So that's the way it is. Thank you again, guys. And as I scroll down here real quick, I also see someone who I swear is saying, "May the Schwartz be with you." And we got a $10 super chat from Guardian Sage. And let me write this down. And he says, "I'm checking in." Hold on. Oh, he said the magic word. But I can't stick around. I'm already running on minimum sleep, and I need to be up and out the door extra early tomorrow. Well, we all appreciate you being here, Guardian. And guess what? I'll just let you know right now, there is something dropping tonight, and this is the thumbnail for it. And yes, that is the title that's in red right there. And I thought it was funny. Unfortunately, I had to do it off the cuff, like seriously off the cuff on that one, because it was just, I just keep running out of time. One of the things I'll actually show you is we just got our new chickens in, and we had some serious problems with them this morning, and it was, well, we had some bad advice. We were told you could just put them out if it's the middle of summer, you just put them out, but we're in the middle of a cold snap here. And we thought they would just stay in that little nest that I built them. That was like 6 inches of shavings. No, they got out and went to like the coldest part of the coop, and I lost one to hypothermia, and we almost lost 2 more. Thankfully, I was able to, do the Frankenstein, "It's alive," after they warmed up. And the only reason I knew they were going to make it is because when I held them, in my hands, they started breathing more. So, side comments. Oh God, I'm so down the rabbit hole, guys. Sorry, I'm down this rabbit hole. I'm so far down. I'm so far down the rabbit hole, I need another drink. And yeah, somebody who's on Prozac and pancakes is trying to get his wins in early. I can't blame you for that. Guess what? I have no shit on here. I have the winners for the week right there. You got the ones that are coming up tonight. And I guess I got to put you in here. Zach and pancake. And yeah, the autocorrect on that. The I, right? Anyway. Let's go into the first one over this past week. Is looking for a human. And if you guys know that whole thing up in the corner says like a tree, why is this side by side? Ah, you jerk. No, add to stage. Whatever. Wasn't meant to do that. Anyways, where it says like a tree, you guys know that one. That was a joke. I say that every single time when it comes to a tall chick, because the first time I dated a tall chick, she was, I kid you not, 6'4". And she asked me if that was a problem. I said, ma'am, you're gorgeous. I will climb you like a tree tonight if that's where it goes. And she could not stop laughing. I don't know where it came out of. It just kind of rolled off my tongue. And yeah, we actually ended up dating for over a month. And she ended up moving. We didn't actually officially break up. We just kind of separated. Regardless, looking for human. You guys like the funny names? I'm going to keep doing the funny names and stuff like that. The little stuff, all that helps out all these one-off stories. Somebody mentioned how they like the just regular guy got the barbarian girlfriend, and I had to put in here as a note, it's a culture shock. And that was kind of the point of the whole thing. Like, oh crap, did I accidentally get space married? You know, that was the whole thing. And believe it or not, it wasn't until I finished this that I thought about that whole scene in Deadpool where he ended up kissing like a space hippo. You know, she anthropomorphic space hippo with claw hands. And, you know, he's talking to his inner voices. And, did I just get space married? One voice goes, no. The other voice goes, yay. So, yeah, I'm sure that was somewhere in my subconscious on that. However, somebody also said a woman like this, which, yes, would be like a female orc, just a little bit stronger. Everybody wonder if he has been sentenced to, because he got married to her, would he be sentenced to
death? By snoo.
It'd be a hell of a way to go, wouldn't it? The thing, you can actually die from that. Everybody, if you've ever seen 1,000 Ways to Die, everybody knows that one. It literally overloads your cardiovascular system and, well, pop. Oh, Chicken House caught fire, Guardian. Oh yeah, just if you can get him out, great. Yeah, it doesn't smell like fried chicken. I'm going to tell you that. The thing is, if it's a commercial chicken raising area, that place is so full of nitrates, man. Stay away because it can quite literally explode. Some of those things are so full of dust. It's just absolutely crazy. And I see another $10 super chat from somebody who is so outrageous. It's Erica. And by the way, Erica, I hope you don't mind. I might use you and Ava in another story. But she says, with the FIFA Full Fun Cup going on, my guilty pleasure has been enjoying American food. Thanks for the stories. And that has been, guys, that's been all over everybody's feed because everybody just hears the bad news about this country. And rightfully so, there's plenty of bad news. But, oh, wait, we just saw that one. But the thing about that is, just like I've been around the world to different countries, you'll find good stuff in a lot of other countries. And it's, I mean, let's face something like over in Europe, you're just amazed at how good the food is. Around here, we have plenty of, or a plethora of food, but I'll say the quality that we get is nothing compared to over there. So it's one of those things. And I hope everybody visiting America doesn't mind gaining a few pounds because all the shit that's in our diet. I should know I'm sitting on about 20 pounds right here that it's me that's not me. So anyways, thank you again, Erica. Very much appreciate. And moving down here, along with this story, somebody said right at the end, and that's kids, that's how I met your mother. Now, can you help me up? Because I can't feel my legs. I thought that was kind of funny. That was not my add-on. That was actually what they wrote. And that was a good chuckle on my end. But yeah, if you're with somebody that strong, you better be careful. They can hurt you if they want to. Then again, just like you know, to say, play through the pain, tape it back up, and get it in there. You're never that tired. All right. On a side note from this, one of the comments in here, and before I say too much, I don't have too much with someone who can fix her. Now, somebody who says he can fix her, and all I can say is, oh, you son of a bitch, work. Damn it, I thought it's going to work here in a second, man. So I'm writing this down. Let me know if you want your title here or you want...
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Let me know if you want to keep the whole I can fix her thing or you want your title there. And all he does on here is tip jar. And again, appreciate it. I'm not, you guys know I don't beg, but I'll never turn it down. So thank you very much, Deathbed. Very much appreciated. Very, very much appreciated. You, Erica, Guardian, Brian, Skip, everybody who is here today. Thank you very much. Anyways, I gotta say one of the main things here is one of the longer subscribers of the channel is not currently listening to the channel. And okay, Deathbed, I will. The main reason is they like the series. I think they like the fact that I know how to make a good cliffhanger and I'll start right back up there. There's no extra recap. I expect everybody already know that. So there may be like one line and that's about it. Okay. And honestly, I hate recaps before you start over. I keep trying to fast forward. That's why I don't do them. Regardless, they said they like the series. They do not like the short videos, which means I lose people for that. All I can say is I can't placate to everybody, guys. It's just me. And hopefully tomorrow I have my buddy who's an electrician. He's going to go hook up the electricity downstairs. From there, it's get the desk, have it brought in, have it assembled. And once there, all this equipment is going to go downstairs. So fair warning, guys, if you don't hear from me for a couple of days, I'm just moving everything downstairs and I'm trying to get everything up and running. Where was I? Okay. But anyways, let me know, guys, if there is a specific area you want me to go into with shorts, or well, I'm going to start going back to series once I have everything set up downstairs. All right. The next one was Hear Us Roar. And guess what? It wasn't the tigers by the tail that roared. It's the roar of guns. And I don't know, was it too on the nose with the whole thing? I taught, and then lead it right to the putty tat there. You guys got to let me know if that was lame or what. I wanted to put a quote on that. I found out if I put that in quotes, I get a copyright strike. You believe that bullshit? Oi. One of the key things on this one was the basically sniper dreadnought that the humans brought in. And there was confusion on the name of the ship. Apparently, I said it too fast. The ship was actually called the BFG 9000, as in the big fucking gun from Doom, and it was kind of a hat tip to them. And not to mention, I don't like using things like Mac or anything like that because that's already been used to death. Now, I did actually have to answer this question. There was one when they asked, what is the power level of that ship? Well, the power level is basically fuck everything in that direction. And I'm just going to keep fucking up everything in that direction. That's the power level. The power level is basically fuck you. And let's face it, when it comes to big guns, the power is always fuck you. Warsnipers, I couldn't not figure out which species were the tigers. Oh, okay. I remember I actually gave them a name. I forget what it was off the top of my head. But I will keep that in mind. This is why I like you guys here. You keep me focused. I'm sorry. Keep me focused. Let's see. Now I'm going to mispronounce this one, guys, because I had to write down. Somebody mentioned how it sounded a whole. Oh, shit. I forgot to put that back up. They said it's Bokaneko humanoid, like kitty universe. And it literally said kittyverse in there. I'm like, I think I know what you're talking about. And that was kind of a goofy ass anime. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, that was not really where I was going with these felines. I just wanted something that wasn't quite literally a cat girl or a cat boy, because that shit's been overdone so much. I mean, seriously, anime has taken that one. Even if I try to do the whole fox thing, what does the fox say? Surrender your planet. That's what the fox is going to say. Leon is asking what the BFG 9000 Starship looks like. A very big gun without a pistol grip and a couple of engines attached to it. That's all it is. It's literally just a giant fuck you stick. That sounded so wrong. You know what? Because I said that, I'm going to have to give myself one of these.
You are fined 1 homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute.
Oh, wrong button. Anyways, there wasn't too many comments on here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anything else that I need to fix. And so far, there's 2. One, I had to be a little clear on the actual name, and also making sure which species you knew I was talking about. I will definitely be careful on that. All right, the next one to come in was they can't be attacking us. The humans are. What do you mean we're being attacked by humans? They're already dead. Well, and by the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the little kind of twist at the end with the whole Draven thing. That was basically their version of the can't kill it. It's just basically a Terminator that just will come at you. Now, you guys had actually a lot of you brought up the Lazarus Project. I had totally forgot about that. I mean, it was, I haven't seen anything on that in years. That being said, yeah, basically nanites and everything else speed up recovery and things like that, which kind of works, which is why every time they get blasted, every time they get injured, they become less and less human. They just become more like the zombie, or as one person said, they're mixed with Borg. As in, you shoot them and they just don't die. And you end up like the Zombieland 2 T-800. What in the ever-loving fuck? As he's just pumping rounds into this thing. And where was I? Okay. I was actually worried. You guys gotta let me know if this one worked. Now, it seemed like I was repeating at the end. Just remember, I was kind of doing first person from the other side. And the reason the guy was repeating is because he was scared. He was scared shitless. He's trying to wrap his brain around what's going on, so he's repeating himself. Everybody who gets nervous does the same thing. That's why some people, they'll sit there and say, and you said that this, that it's just a little bit of a stutter. That being said, it was there. It also helped to pad out the time just a little. But there wasn't much else in the comments section, so I'm going to move right along to they came to take. And yes, they did come to take. That one was a almost 100% off the cuff. I actually just put the notes back on the other side. I'd have to get up and get them, but literally like maybe 8 lines of notes is what I did with this one. It's just because of time, guys. I hope you guys seem to like the off the cuff stuff, so I'm gonna keep doing it. One of the key things here, let me know if you guys, did I hit this right about a father protecting? Like, he can have all the sense of duty in the world, but when he's protecting his children, he'll just protect his children. You know, because that was actually, that's how this story came to be. So I'd like to know if it actually came out, you know, if it came out correctly. Somebody asked, you know, what remains of the for the Emperor? I say that because we have an MTF guard coming in with a, oh, shoot, I just miswrote that. With a $20 super chat. Says, I don't know how many clips sent, but I did send a few this time around. Guard, I got 0 this week. 0. I don't know what's going on, but nothing came through at all. And that's nothing on you. That might be on my end. I really have no idea. But I got 0 extras. I mean, I'm going to go over some, I got a few in the tank here. So it's not a problem. But yeah, that's just the way it is. Anyway, thank you very much for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Even if you don't send super chats, even if you don't send the video, I'm grateful that you're here. Just like everybody else, I am just grateful you guys are here to spend time with me. Still on this one, you know, they have come to take ... You notice I didn't finish. What did they? And I will give hints, just little bitty hints in the title card or the thumbnail if I can help it. They came to take it back. That was the whole point. Let's see. I left the whole what remains on Earth that was there when humans were there. Excuse me. When they were there originally, what remains, that's left up to your imagination. That I could have literally made this thing another half an hour just by going through every single area from the deserts to the oceans to the rainforest to the deciduous to the plains to the, you know, the radiated fields of Chernobyl with their giant freaking canines that are there, you know, all that fun stuff. And someone, I won't mention who, Erica, actually thanked me for having it so that the humans didn't fully genocide. And will the mission take the planet, remove any resistance, sorry, I got sidetracked here with guards. How many weeks did I do that again? What, forget to send something or didn't send something? Because usually it's every week you send at least one. So anyways, yeah. The mission was not genocide. The mission was to take the planet back, which is one of the things in science fiction that a lot of these, I don't want to say critiquers because that's not the right thing. Those who just judge the sci-fi and be like, well, you know, it'd be a much easier just to glass the planet. What if you're trying to take the planet, you douchebag? Because that's kind of the point for a lot of these. That's the reason for invasion, to take the planet. The only reason to destroy a planet is to deny it, or you can't hold it, but you're denying it to the enemy. That's the whole point of like salting the earth on the way out. Asset denial. There is no asset denial in this entire story. Because you want the asset. Both sides want the asset. They want to keep it in one piece. It's just like when the North and South over here during the Civil War were fighting over a bridge. Neither side wanted to blow it the fuck up. But that would have solved the problem. And you'd be surprised how many times they fought over bridges. Hell, even in World War II, there was a major fight over bridges all the time. Hell, they made a movie where it was a bridge too far. You know, is what it is. Oh, guard, that whole thing with the Xbox, we will be getting into that. We will definitely be getting into that. That's deeper down in here. I will say you're right. It's getting, you know, I'm just going to read this because we're going to be getting through it. Guard saying, so Xbox is getting hit with the consequences of the former CEO's actions. Apparently, there's a lot of debt because of him, especially with how much money he took from the company invested in AI. Because of that, they are now having to shut down over a dozen different studios. Yep, it's right here in my notes. And even though the current one herself said she wants to keep them, they said it would just make it worse. But she did state that all of the IPs would be going to other studios, and any workers who wanted to stay would be going to the studios that have control over the games for sequels and remakes. Guys, when we get into that, I got a whole thing on the CEOs. It's just going to piss you off. Anyway, just to finish off, once again, this is the title card of what's dropping tonight. The only thing I'm missing is what we're collecting here, which is the shout outs for everybody. And before I jump over to the videos to break the tension here, I do have to say that just before I got on the stream tonight, something jumped up on my feed, and apparently it's an anime called I'm a mob character in an Otome game. That show is so much better than it should be. It's just it's funny. It's stupid. It's goofy. It's literally a guy knows he's in a game, and instead of being like, I'm going to play this straight, he knows he's in a game, so he plays the game. He plays the game with all the cheat knowledge. Just like if you've already beaten a game 4 or 5 times, what would you end up doing? You would use everything you know to your advantage, and that's exactly what he does. So, before I go too far off the rails, I'm just going to throw up one video here. We did a bunch of these last week, so I'm going to start here. Okay, that's literally him just boom, headshot, right? All right. Let's see. I got one here. Yep. Now, the news that I got, now this is a couple days old, was Microsoft was considering dropping the Xbox and going away from, they're going the way of Sega. Sega was an awesome company, but it was mismanaged to the unbelievable max. If you guys ever get a chance to actually look up what happened to the company Sega and how they originally started and how good they were, making an excellent product, and you just watch them just crush themselves. They just crush their own nuts. Oh, it's terrible. And now Microsoft, they're losing things like Blue Sky and stuff like that. It's all canceled. Everything seems to be canceled. But they're not the only ones that are having trouble. Now, before I go too far, I just have to go down the rabbit hole just a little bit. Just a little down this rabbit hole. Bear with me. And what happens with a lot of these CEOs, COOs, and stuff like that is the fact that once you become a CEO in one company, you are in the circle. You are in that tiny little circle that apparently has been gaped out because they're just so screwed up with their heads up their asses that they will move. If this CEO does a bad job, they're not fired, they're transferred over. They're still getting paid. And then even if they are fired, let go, voted out, whatever the hell you want to call it, they're simply moved from this company to this company where they're going to do the exact same thing and they're going to fuck everything up. I mean, it is just horrible how they do this. And a perfect example is the same douche nozzle who almost sunk Chipotle. And I know you guys love Chipotle. And now that same friggin' jizz stain is going to sink Starbucks. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Starbucks is way overpriced for what you get. But it's just, this is what happens when you're in that group. You're literally not allowed to fail. It is absolutely insane. You are not allowed to fail. And it pisses me off to absolutely no end. And while I'm talking, let me remove some of these here so I have something to work with, some space here. So anyways, that's what's going to be happening with the CEOs, the COOs, CFOs, CIOs, with CEIEIO. I don't know what the fuck else you want to call them. They're all in the same clique. They all went to the same colleges. They all got brought in by the same people. They're when you go up the chain, their master is the same person. And here's another fun one for you. You are only allowed to pay a CEO or CFO or any of those board members a certain amount of money. Once you go above that certain amount of money, the taxes that company has to pay is absolutely nuts. So what they do is they add on a whole bunch of bonuses like performance bonuses, stock options and things like that. That doesn't count. But guess what? That little extra that goes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger is a tax write-off for the company. You ever wonder why these companies don't pay a fucking lick in tax? I mean, shocker. Want to smell it? Whew. No. It don't pass the sniff test, motherfuckers. But it's all legal. It is all fucking legal. All right. Go down here. Ubisoft is also having some serious fucking problems. Multiple studios are going under. Massive layoffs, and that's what happens when you get woke. You go broke and then you croak. Ghost Recon is completely shut down as far as I'm tracking. Far Cry has been shut down as far as I'm tracking, or delayed almost indefinitely. The next Assassin's Creed was pretty much chopped. I'm like, all these legacy ones. And by the way, Chris, the whole food poisoning thing actually happened under his watch. Anyways, it's bad. They also got Bungie. Bungie is laying off. Apparently, half their studios are being shut down. Actually, exactly 50%. They're doing a hardline cut. 50% gone. Just gone. And all these software developers they're out. They're done. And the AI that's supposed to be replacing them isn't nearly good enough yet to actually replace them. AI has no creativity. It never did. And I don't think it ever will. That being said, and again, I did a story on the whole thing. You guys listened to it. The whole thing. The only reason AI keeps us around is because we have creativity. We have ingenuity. We have the ability to do things it can't. So it simply uses us to accomplish its goal. And when both our goals and their goals are aligned, we just jump ahead, technologically speaking. And everybody's just happy as a pig and sloppy shit with a full belly and a fresh off the sow.
Oh. Stick around.
Sorry, I had the volume down for that joke. That didn't go over well. But I mean, it's to the point where these people, I don't even trust them to make a good game. You know, and a lot of people don't trust them. Hell, Tex don't even trust them.
Tex doesn't trust me right now. Ready?
Why not?
Because I got to use a sniper rifle and I ended up unloading a round into her ass.
Hey, chicka bum bum.
Caboose, what did I tell you about that?
Sorry.
And let's try to download a video or a picture while we're there. It goes. So yeah, where was I? All right. Slightly good news though. It's not all bad news. I will say the console wars are pretty much done because the games for the consoles are absolute dog shit. And I've said it before and I'll say it again because I feel like a moron for getting rid of all my old games with the original Xbox because I didn't want to become a video game addict. And when I mean addict, I mean literally I will start like twitching if I didn't play. Regardless, all those old games were actually the games worth playing. It's just repeat playing. It was just so much better. However, Fable. It wasn't just them, Chris, but yes, they took a giant. Yeah, everybody gets sweet babied is done. The game Fable. Apparently, the actual designers decided to, at least if you're playing on computer or on PC, you can character create. You can adjust the settings for the main character. So she doesn't look like a he, and she isn't actually a he, because if she was a he, then she would be the first lady, right? There's also, again, taking a downturn on this one, Tomb Raider, Legacy of Atlantis. Apparently, they're trying to do damage control because one of their actors just could not shut the hell up. Just seriously, keep your politics away because thanks to people talking about their politics, I cannot enjoy a Liam Neeson movie anymore. I actually got rid of the discs. I hate that guy so much that I can't. It's just not going to happen. No, absolutely not. I will not watch any of his movies ever. And I was a huge A-Team fan. And just because he's in that movie, I can't watch it. I watched it, I think, twice, and that was it. Once because it was on a friend's TV, and once because I wanted to see what the movie was like. I mean, the guy who played Murdoch did a really good job. The guy, actually, everybody else did a really good job. I just hate that motherfucker. But they got to keep their fucking politics out. Keep it out of our escapism. But, they won't because their head is shoved straight up their ass. So, it's just like anything that guy from Stealth or Django Unchained. I can't watch anything he's in. He's a raving racist. I can't watch him. Just can't. So, anyways, here's a little bit of good news. I'm trying not to mispronounce this. Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. Apparently, during the State of Play whole big group, this was basically part of their Comic-Con release. It was a complete and total no-show. Apparently, everybody had been downvoting it so much that they were just like, maybe we'll wait until release to say anything. That's going to kill their profit margin, as if there was going to be one. People are actively protesting this game. It could be a great game, but I'm sorry, no. When your main character is so ambiguous, I'm like, who's this little boy here? They're like, that's a chick. What? What am I watching? The Odyssey? What the fuck? Let's see. Apparently the I don't know why they do this, guys. I really don't know why they do this. Apparently they put a pride color flag thing behind Project Red, which was a new game coming out. And the same people that did that, when somebody said, I'm just going to go play Witcher, these same folks said, fuck Witcher 4. we don't even want to make it unless we are able to, as Chris so eloquently put it, they got sweet babied. And I'm like, no, they showed that wasn't going to happen at the end of, I think it was 2, maybe it was 3, I forget, where if you play as the Witcher and you try to romance both girls and get them together at the same time, they literally is like, we don't do that. And they friggin' cuffed him to the bed and left him there while they went out and get drunk. And I thought that was just funny. And it worked. It worked. But now they want everybody. Put a chick in it, make her gay and lame. You know, I still can't find that sound bite. Every channel I look for, the only place that has it, it's like $20 for it. I'm like, you jerks. So, anyways, it's just, I'm just like, what the fuck, over? Everybody likes The Witcher except for the people who made the TV show. I mean, Henry Cavill, apparently the reason they got rid of him because he's like, that doesn't work. This doesn't work. This is wrong. That's wrong. What the fuck are you doing? This is not The Witcher. So anyways, before we go into TV and movies, let's do another video. Oh, can't use that one. Can't use that one. Can't use that one. Where? Here we go. You know, I know what they were saying. As soon as you fired, little bastard shot me in the ass because they were driving away. All right. For you guys, you Doctor Who fans, Doctor Who has been officially canceled. There is no bringing it back. There's no, they're working on it. There's no nothing. It is done. They were going, apparently, when they started doing the next writer's room, they started going so woke. They did a test on the script, and everybody said the same thing. They will not just not watch it. They would rather shut their phone or TV off, shut their phone off, and not watch it than actually be paid to sit there and listen to anything else. I mean, it was terrible. Now, they're not saying exactly what it was, but it's got to be pretty goddamn terrible for some of these folks to actually not want to do it. All right, let's see. Disclosure Day. I didn't get to see it. I went by not only somebody I know who got to see it, but also a whole bunch of the reviewers. Apparently, it was keyed up as, oh, Steven Spielberg, he makes the best sci-fi. He makes all this. He made Close Encounters. He made E.T. He made this. He made Indiana Jones. Yada, 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 yada. People were lined up to bend over and spread their cheeks for him, and it was a massive disappointment. Everybody said two things about it. It was boring and it was stupid. Because if you have all this information, you simply got to link up to the internet, and these guys are supposed to be techno wizards, like 9th level wizards when it comes to this sort of thing, and just upload it. Send it, all this stuff to, even if you go to the quote unquote conspiracy theory folks and give them everything, they'll have a fucking field day. And the more things that are proven right, the more you give credence, let somebody else take the hit. Speaking of taking the hit, these folks, there should have been a hit put out on them in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and nobody ever decides to shoot them. What? I'm like, no. That's not how these things go. You know, like people would say, well, why didn't they just shoot their way into the house with E.T.? They didn't have to. They were not under any time pressure that they truly knew of. They didn't have any armed resistance. They knew they could capture everybody as long as they hit in a coordinated movement, which they did. They encapsulated the house. They had all the suits and everything ready. There was no reason to kill anybody, because they would lose information. So That's where the two come in very different. All right, now I kind of wish I got a picture of the Mandalorian and Grogu, because apparently everything has gone so bad with that movie that the CEO, at least two of them, are demanding changes to Star Wars that need to happen now. And all I can say is, guys, send the script to me. I will fix that motherfucker in a day. It is not that hard to do. They would screw it up, I guarantee. However, it wouldn't be hard. You guys have heard me say what I would do to fix it, and it's not even difficult. And it would set them up for even bigger and better and eventually clashing in a giant space battle. Just minus the guys in robes running around with their glowing space dildos. Single-ended or double-ended. It depends on if you're Jedi or Sith. You know, but yeah. It's just driving me freaking nuts on this one. Speaking of movies, the He, She, Man, Woman movie it's not doing poorly. I will give it this. The box office returns are not horrible. However, it is not getting the numbers they expected, not getting the numbers they wanted. Why? Because old codgers like me actually remember when it came out in 1986. And when it came out in 2000 or 1996 or something like that, another one in like 2001, you know, we remember all these. We remember the ones that were just really, really good. Those that got really deep into the lore. Those that actually built the characters up of more than just, oh, good guy, smash, bad guy, roar. You know, and then we look at this. The guy who plays He-Man, he's too fucking small. They don't even CGI him any bigger. Apparently, the only really good character to watch in there is the villain. Well, you know, shocker nowadays. Now the villain is the only good character. The woman who plays Evelyn, apparently she's as emotive as a friggin' stick. The whole thing about Man-at-Arms, who's apparently now black, screwing the sorceress who is white and having a Hispanic child. I'm sorry, no, that does not work. That is not how genetics work, people. Okay, if I was a Hispanic, I'd be sitting there going, what the fuck are you guys talking about? It doesn't work that way. The hell? You know, it just, and they couldn't even keep consistency between the child version of Tila and the adult version. And it's just, it's to me, it's trash. I would have liked to go see Mortal Kombat. I just don't have the time to go see Mortal Kombat. I'm sorry. When that techno beat kicks in, everybody wants to kick somebody's ass. That's just the way it goes. All I can say with Mortal Kombat is they tried. They tried. God help them. They tried. They just don't really ever get it right. You know, it's unfortunately they never get, they don't want to do the characters right, because it would be almost entirely you go here, fight this person, then this person here, go here, fight this person, this one here, fight this, which is because that was the game and that's what made it good. It was not sitting around trying to figure out who's going to fuck who. No, absolutely not. The love story happens other times, like when you're getting ready for the fight, not the fight, flirt, fight, fuck, fight, fornicate, fight, flirt some more, fight, find a place to fuck her. It's just, no, it doesn't. No, we're not Dornish here. Okay. It doesn't work that way. But I'll give them this. At least they're getting a little better. I mean, you guys remember, was it about 10, 15 years ago, at least they made the other Mortal Kombat movies, and those are so bad. Oh, those are drinking games. When something doesn't make sense, you take a shot and you will have alcohol poisoning in about 30 minutes. Whew. All right. On a better note, guys, on a much better note, I just saw this like maybe an hour before we got started. It was sent to me. And Leonid, yes, she was. If you watch the or see the original, she is a dead ringer for her mother, which is the sorceress, which plays a lot into her character because she never knows her mother because her mother gave her up so she can go back to guarding the secrets of Castle Grayskull. Anyway, I'm before I go down this rabbit hole, I want to say that I saw the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day. That movie is either exceptionally busy or it's just going to be really, really good. Now, I don't like the actor who plays the Hulk. I think he's just a tool bag. I think he's not a very good actor either. However, Hulk is still Hulk. Hulk is still good. As long as Professor Hulk is a little weird. That being said, you got a lot of shit moving around. And I think the guy who plays Spider-Man, I think he's going to be able to pull it off. He's a very good actor. I mean, I'm glad he gets rid of that goofy accent he has. And he actually works with well, he doesn't quite get the New Yorker accent in, but he does a really good job. Nobody can argue with that. He's not the pinnacle of Spider-Man, but he's high enough that he can pull it off. And again, I think he's got the chops for it. I'm looking forward to it. If I can get myself away for a few hours, I want to go see it. Even though I didn't see the one before it, I still want to go see it. But one last, and here is the last part. I know I've been ranting on for about an hour now, and we're going to go in the chat box here in a minute. I got one last thing. Just one. And it is the fight against AI and the AI channels. Now, you guys know the fusion centers that people are calling data centers for it's supposedly for AI. I'm just going to tell you right here, it's not. Okay, they as in people who are so unbelievably rich that to them money is monopoly money. It's a joke. They believe themselves better than everyone else, and they've always wanted these fusion centers. And if you know what I'm talking about, so did a certain raving conspiracy quote unquote guy was talking about it for a long time. And these things were put on hold because the people were looking into them. Now they just changed the name, call them data centers, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we're going to have AI now." Bullshit. Okay, that's the bullshit of bullshits right there. Not only is that not for AI, but if it were, then as the moment one of these things came online, you would see this massive jump in AI resolution and AI quality. You don't. It's creeping up just like everything else. That being said, the actual AI channels that you guys, I'm sure you have plenty of, make sure that even if you sit and listen to one while you're driving or doing whatever you're doing, make sure you thumbs down. And when you're done, click on not interested to it. And that's pretty much the only way you can do it. That's the only way you can tell the algorithm that you do not like this. Now, the fun part about that is you're still going to see these. No matter how many times you block them, how many times you say you're not interested, it's still going to come up. If you guys watch Tim Pool, he did the same thing with I forget what the hell it was that he was trying to get rid of. There was the same AI garbage over and over and over again, and he was trying to delete it on TikTok, and it was the same channels just kept popping up eventually within 24 hours. It's beyond ridiculous. But it is what it is. And Joseph, you're right. The AI channels, they're like roaches. You step on one and like 10 more pop up. But one thing you don't step on is my chickies right here. And these are the ones I told you we had to rush them inside. Yeah, that is a very small box. There's 11 chicks in there. And if you guys don't know anything about raising chicks, is they got to stay kind of warm. That light in the corner is actually a type of heat lamp. And that's, again, so we don't have the same problems that we had last night where I lost one. I'm still upset. I'm going to be upset about that one for a while. Regardless, let's throw on a video before I jump into the comment section. Where were we? We were somewhere around here. Looking at that video, did somebody just snipe a boat? Huh. Okay, up here, I'm way up towards the top, guys, so it's going to be, let's see, somebody saying cameras online, sound and picture, there's Guardian with his, and let's see, Erica's, and I can fix her, there he is. Lena says, How I Met Your Mother is a time travel story. I never actually sat and watched it, so I can't say too much on that. I do know the thing is about the, and this is why I'd love to be on something like Sean Ryan or Joe Rogan, because I'd be like, hey, I'm going to freak you out on this. You know how they say you can always tell time travel doesn't exist because if it did, you would have met yourself already? That's not how it works. You still have to live through that before you can time travel back to meet yourself. I'm going to say that one again. You still have to live through it before you can go back, which means you haven't traveled back yet. But if you do travel back and see yourself, one of two things is going to happen. Either at the same, your memories are going to change at that moment as you see yourself, or you're not going to be able to see those memories until you travel back to whatever future you're at. And then you got a boom beer me moment where you most likely will have an aneurysm. Let's see. But yeah, that's something a lot of people don't understand about temporal dynamics is you actually have to live through something before you can go back behind it. All right, Chris says, my buddy from the RAF, the Royal Air Force, is going to visit while he's in the States for the World Cup. I might have borrowed some cool toys to have fun at the range and made plans to celebrate the 4th epically. Yes, epically. There you go. Let's see. Sniper says, I could not figure out with, okay, I read that with the species and the BFG 9000. Alan says, while you are doing the studio, do the tilted stacking shelf for the desk, for the space on the desk. Stacking shelf. Tilted stack. I'm not even sure what you're talking about on that. Let's see. Lena says, when I heard about the story about dead humans, I was immediately thought about the planet full of sci-fi zombies from the movie Serenity. Okay. Well, considering I haven't seen it, I'm going to have to take your word for it. It sounds familiar. I think I know which one, where the guy who was in the, who played Buck or voiceover Buck. I think that was him. Guard asks how many weeks you got? Well, let's see. Guard, you just dropped a 20. And remember, if you drop a 50 in 1 week, then you actually, then you get the extra. So basically, you could split instead of, like you did a 20 here, if say you were going to do another super chat for another like 5, that's 2 super chats. So that's why I said at 50, it's 2 weeks, because some people, they just throw in and they're like, oh, I won't be here next week. So that's why I did that. Anyway, I need to pop a top on this because I am a bit thirsty. It's getting warm. It's very warm in here, actually. Leon says, still the most creepiest movie I came from Firefly. Firefly TV show. Okay, so we are thinking the same thing. Yep. The Reavers. That's it just hit me. The Reavers, man, that I only know that because I keep seeing that same video clip. Shoot the Reavers, somebody fire, and then everybody just lights up, and everybody's just trying to kill each other. Let's see. Okay, I read that from Guard about the CEO, and you're right. It's all bad, man. It is all bad. The sequels, the remakes, everything's gone to shit. Yeah, War Sniper talking about A Bridge Too Far, also known as Operation Market Garden, which was honestly just like a lot of things during that time. Well, World War I and World War II, a lot of people died because of British pride. Okay, and unfortunately, it's not warfare yet over on the islands over there with the Brits, but pride's biting them again in a bad way, and they refuse to see it. I don't know how else to say that one. And it's crazy. Market Garden was basically, they didn't want to be overshadowed by the Americans who were coming in and just beating everybody's ass. So they're like, oh, we've come up with a plan that's going to work so well. Yeah, just like Gallipoli, I'm sure that worked out real well in World War I, and it actually stalled the entire war by 3 years. Dumbasses. If you don't know what Gallipoli was, World War I, the Brits were going to do an amphibious assault up the Gallipoli coast, and they would have had overhead watch of the Constantinople, and they would have been able to, once they had the high ground, we all know about getting the high ground and how important that is, that they would have been able to literally sit there and spot the mines and be able to coax all their ships in. And once they got through that strait, they would have been able to go up to Constantinople and just beat the living piss out of it. And the war, at least the Austro-Hungarians, would have been out of the war. And without them, the Germans wouldn't have been able to keep up the pressure, because then they would have been fighting a war on 3 fronts, like right off the bat. And they couldn't do that. Nobody could do that. Not at that time. So, but yeah, just because Winston Churchill decided, instead of amphibious assault, where the army's going to be the main effort, oh no, we can't let the army take the pride and the victory away from our ships. We're the Brits, and we need to have our navy do everything. So he set up an entire new battle plan, told everybody to screw off, and he ended up getting thousands of his men killed. And he's like, it wasn't my fault they couldn't climb everything in full pack for over a quarter mile. It's not my fault they were so exhausted. It's not my fault we packed them in the boat so tight that if they got shot, they didn't even fall over. And they made really good targets. Churchill was a douche. Let's see. Chris up here saying, the funder of Microsoft. You notice that's probably the reason, or the 2 reasons why Bill Gates got divorced, micro and soft. And he spent all the money releasing bioweapons. Yeah. Don't even get me started on that asshole. Chris also down here going, yes, Trapped in a Dating Sim is a great show and about to get a 2nd season. Yep, I just saw that today. As actually earlier today, I saw that, and I immediately wrote it down for tonight. It's like, gotta talk about that. It is so much better than it should be. Because the things, once that one took off, how many type of copycats were there? There was a shit ton of copycats. They were everywhere. And they're never as good. They always do the whole thing about, the MC female is all of a sudden being pushed off to the side by some other person who was brought in there. It's like, whatever. Guard here. Okay. Well, I'll resend the clip. Apparently it shows in my Gmail setting that there was no such video sent outwards. Huh. That's interesting. Leonid asking, is that an old anime? It's a couple years at least. Actually, no, it's like 3 or 4 years now that I think about it. Just look up Trapped in a Dating Sim or as a mob character, and it should come up. As in, don't get the manga shit confused with the actual anime. Okay, now don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff. There's always a lot of stuff missing compared to the manga to the anime. You know, the manga always has more details. However, the anime is still, again, better than it has a right to be. Let's see. Alan says, yeah, I could see an infantry unit attacking while blowing kazoos. I'm suddenly thinking Robin Hood Men in Tight, where they're riding along and blowing the kazoos as they go. Let's see. Lena says, there's a lot of otome anime with the male protagonist 4 or 5 years ago. Yep. A lot of copycats, man. A lot of copycats. One of the main things is they had kind of a rosy look to all the characters in the first one. And it's just like the original Isekai before that even became an anime. How many copycats were on? There's still more copycats out where suddenly they're instantly overpowered as fuck. Speaking of which, apparently the Moonlight Fantasy is supposed to be coming out with another season here within a year. We'll see. Every time they say a year, I give them at least 3. Chris over here says, last time I had a Chipotle, I almost died from food poisoning as a dark, evil, eldritch god clawed its way out of my backside. I never needed a hug so bad in my life more than in that moment. Well, I don't think anybody wanted to hug you, man. They probably were afraid they'd squeeze more out of you like a ketchup packet. Well, maybe not a ketchup packet, because if that was red, you're in deep, deep trouble. Erica says, getting trapped in dating sim world would be a living nightmare. And she gives reasons. I like this. 1, don't know how to play them, which is a good thing. 2, I don't do mind games very well. And 3, I run away from toxicity. 4, just no. So yeah, it's I hate those two. Like I never really care for those. The closest I ever played was one, what the hell was it? It was a puzzle game, but every time you solve a puzzle, you get to friggin' basically do the woman on the far end. I'm like, okay, that's weird. That's creepy. That's 2D. That's cartoony. That's gross. So, yeah, let me just figure out the puzzle. The puzzles were good. The most recent one sucked. It was too goddamn easy. It took me like maybe 5 minutes, and usually it takes a good half an hour to figure these out. At least. One of them, it took me like 3 hours to figure out. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, trying to remember the name of it. But yeah, and Chris is still on the Otome game with, but it had mech suits, flying islands, and airships. Yeah, that even though everything was supposed to be medieval, added mech suits and flying bikes and stuff. I'm like, and full on firearms, and yet everyone's expected to still fight with swords and shit. Guard over here saying, "Oh, you bet your ass they did," and they it's talking about Sweet Baby Killed Gaming. They still scream out when okay, hold on. Let me try reading this again. Oh, you bet your ass they did, and they'll still scream out what they were trying to save it. Yeah, they always scream it's somebody else's fault. It's your fault. You didn't buy us. Like, well, nobody bought it. It was garbage. Guards up here also says, like, I'm sorry, hijacking a company and then forcing them to change the race or gender of a character because you don't like it doesn't mean you're saving the game. Now, right there, Guard, you hit something very interesting, which is how private equity, they want it to work compared to how it actually works. Private equity, how it used to work is they would find a business that was struggling, a good business that was struggling, or a startup that was not quite getting there, kind of a Shark Tank type of thing. And they would either buy the company or they would buy the controlling shares or however it was, and they would become a silent partner. So they could just take the money, what was profit, which was fine because then they got the capital they needed. They fixed what they had to do. And then they made the company big, which meant more money for the silent partner. That's how private equity works. It raises everybody up. Now private equity is going in and saying, hey, look, this business is already established. This market is already established, housing. And they're buying everything and thinking, oh, since I have control over it, I can just raise the price and people are going to pay, right? You know what? I got to have one over here where it just says wrong. Because you know what? I walk into these boardrooms and all I want to do is say,
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!
yeah. I mean, they don't know what they're doing. You don't go into an established market like that with private equity. You'll have the inverse effect. If you're going to a sinking company and invest in private equity, you save it. If you go to a saved company and put private equity in it, you kill it. I mean, what the ever-loving, snot-rocking, fuckle-knuckles jizz stains are you talking about, you douchebag? Oh my, it's crazy. It's so bad it makes my head hurt. It really does. That people who are supposed to be smart are some of the dumbest people in the world. Now, I will say this, Garden, when it comes to the race swap and the gender swap, a lot of what they're trying to do is not just try to bring in more people into the market, which honestly, why? Because you're pushing out your original audience. But what really comes down to is this. There is a certain group of people with a shit ton of money above the ones who have a crap ton of money, who are way above those who have a hell of a lot of money. But these guys who have a shit ton of money they want that sort of thing, and they're pushing it, and they're pumping a lot of money into it, which is why certain companies, Disney, will actually survive even if they sink a movie, because they made it the way these private equity guys did, and those guys will actually subsidize the loss because, again, to them, money is just numbers on a screen. Money is just green painted paper. That's all it is. So, yeah. Let's see. Lena says, people had a meltdown over the character in the game Stellar Blade. Now, I didn't write that down. I did see something about that, but I didn't have time to actually watch it. You can, by all means, you can go crazy on that one, Lena, and fill in the blanks. But from what I know, the Stellar Blade, it was the fact that they were too feminine. Fix me if I'm wrong. Chris up here saying, oh, yeah, Liam Neeson says guns are bad and no one should have them. And yet he uses them in every single thing he's done. With the exception of, what was it, Don Quixote or whatever the fuck it was, where he was a Scottish guy. Lena says, was the disclosure day exactly what you thought would happen? Well, I haven't seen it. I just saw the reviews. All I know is if there was an actual disclosure day, you would know it'd be actual disclosure because there would be people trying to debunk it. It depends on who is trying to debunk it. And literally trying to say, look over here, don't look over here type of thing. That the misdirection, is what they just absolutely love. If it was actual disclosure, again, it would be a simple information dump and a lot of people would be saving it. And it would be like a Hydra. It would go from computer to computer to computer, copying itself onto the hard drive itself. So it couldn't be actually just, the file just couldn't be deleted. It would actually be on the hard drive. It wouldn't be just the cloud. Let's see. Gart says, oh yeah. Also, they're adding more to the Halo company involved remastered campaign. Honestly, I heard just a flash about that. I didn't really look into it. Again, a little busy. And then he continues, and I mean, like the whole lot more, like 3 extra missions, more enemies, new characters that were only mentioned in the books and comics. And they're even filling some plot holes that old 343 Industries caused. Like the rapid changes in the designs for all the species, especially the elites. Well, it turns out that those are the mutated Flash experimented strands of their species from the Prophets. Oh, yeah, they also added a whole new sub-faction to the Covenant called the Clergy, which are a bunch of ultra-religious zealots. They always get really cool white and gold armor. I believe one of the Prophets was always in white. And sounds like they're at one point trying to do it right. However, I don't think they will for one simple reason. They hired a bunch of people to work on Halo that despise Halo. They don't just hate, they despise Halo. They want to see it destroyed. Why? Fucking reasons. I don't know. And looking up here, Chris, apparently he left. He says he's got to go, but we'll be back soon, hopefully. A buddy just showed up with a load of firewood for the 4th of July bonfire. Now, if he dropped off a full cord, Chris is going to be busy for about 45 minutes to an hour if he's loading it in one area or if he's stacking it. There's a big difference. But yeah, Guard, I would actually be looking forward to that. And Leonid talking about Tila in the He-Man movie, how she's always probably what? Yeah. The original Man-at-Arms was Caucasian, so was the sorceress. So unless something happened somewhere in the genetics somewhere, then no, they would not have a mixed race child. And I'm sorry, but if I was Man-at-Arms and somebody said, here's your kid, and we're both Caucasian and the kid is not, I'd be looking at it as, I don't think that's mine. So anyway, Guards up here saying, the company who owns Doctor Who killed Doctor Who with their terrible choice in actors and them, the thems. Did you get the Baby of Sweetness treatment or at least the TV show equivalent of it? Yeah. I'm sorry. The rainbow suspenders with the blonde woman there, when she had the bob haircut and she came out, I knew it was over. Now, I've never really been much of a Doctor Who fan myself. I never really got into it. I think you got to get into that more at a younger age. However, everybody I know who was a Doctor Who fan, boy, try saying that 10 times fast. Who is a Doctor Who fan? Who is a Doctor Who fan? Who is? They actually stopped watching at that point. They're like, it was going down, but holy shit, that's like putting something like Jack Black in Star Wars. Nobody's gonna watch it after that. And yeah, pretty much that's what happened. And it's just, yeah, it's get broke, go woke. Now you croak. That's just the way it goes. All right, Joseph says the AI spam channels are, oh yeah, I read that. They're like roaches. Let's see. Guard saying, I'm just going to say it about Star Wars, but somebody came up with a recommendation of giving it an absolute universe like DC did. I think I maybe talked about it last week, but to be honest, I can't remember. But seriously, give the show to people who actually like the series and actually want to make a good show and or movie. Yeah, absolutely. You get people that are passionate about the art project, they will make an absolutely gorgeous art project. That's what creative arts is for. You know, it's, a lot of people think creative arts is, oh, you're living your dream, you're just high and just, you're only writing for like 10 minutes, or you're only drawing for 20 minutes a day, and that's it. That's all you get. No, it's not like that at all. Guard also says, I'm just going to say it, but Skeletor hard carried the movie. That's what I keep hearing. He played it as close to the original cartoon supervillain as he possibly could. And I give actors props when they just want to stay true to the source material. Continues with, like, as much as I want to bash on the actor for the Morbius movie, you got to admit he did a good job, especially this time around. Hey, I might actually go see it just for Skeletor. That's like me going to watch The Dark Knight just for the Joker. When he's actually off the screen, I actually turn that movie off. I don't even want to see the last 20 minutes. Let's see. Guard also says, also other tragic news for 2 things this week. We lost the singer Oliver Tree, and we lost the voice actress for Lilo and Stitch, the original voice actress. Not the new shit. Yeah. Oliver Tree died in a helicopter collision in Brazil. Oh, he was on that shit. Okay. 100% definitely not intentional after he told the music industry to go fuck itself and barred them from having rights to his music. Yeah. Wink, 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 wink. Yeah, it's amazing how often that happens. If you're worth a lot of money, but you would refuse to work with certain people, they will have no problem making sure asset denial becomes a probability. And that, I kid you not, people don't realize how important that phrase actually is, asset denial. Let's see. Bite Me says, maybe Mortal Kombat is death by snoo snoo. Maybe if you like Jade with her 4 arms. I'd be worried about where she's putting her hands half the time. And Erica says, story idea. Hold on. Let me get here. Idea. Humans get spacefaring, find out that there are descendants of those taken and experimented on and treated poorly. Humans, space, faring, find, abducted humans. Okay. I will see what I can do. And I need to scroll down here as somebody is telling me to.
All hands to battle stations.
And Skip says, conspiracy theory. The reason YouTube is trying to kill all sci-fi channels is that we are getting too close to the truth. I have noticed that certain videos where I talk about actual technology and how it's been hidden and how it can be used in the future and how its evolution is going to be, I catch a lot of flack on that. And I catch a lot of flack by the fact that my views go to complete and total dog shit. Even if it's one of my better, guys, I can tell if it's one of my better ones before I even post it. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put this up. Okay. All right. But yeah, you're right. I think you are right, because one of the things that the CIA and all the rest of those secretive assholes have been doing is they will end up hiding everything in plain sight. Now, is there the possibility that there is such a thing as a Stargate as similar to what we saw on the show? Possibly. The science suggests it is possible. Now, I did actually write a story on something like that, but it was more on temporal distortion, as in time travel, compared to the Stargate. However, all they have to do is say, oh, you saw that in a sci-fi show. That's where you're getting the idea. You must be a conspiracy theorist. You believe everything you watch on TV, don't you? You believe everything you hear or see on the internet, don't you? You don't. It's not like you actually go and check out the evidence. No, and they just talk over you. And a lot of these sci-fi channels are literally, I found, well, here, I'll even put one up here. I found an alien girl with some funky skin and a hot body, and I pound her into the ground in a fun way. And then I rested for 5 minutes and did it again. You know, that's literally several channels. I've actually had to block multiple channels where that's pretty much all it is CEOs. Let's see sexual prowess. It's like, what the fuck? There's way more to HFY, sci-fi, and all the rest of that bullshit than just doing an alien. And besides, at that point, because of their physiology and biology, you don't even know if that's a female. You don't even know if that's a male. You don't even know if it's somewhere in between. So, yeah. It's just, but yeah, Skip, I think you are absolutely right on that. God damn, why does I keep having to burp? Okay, here we are with Skip again. Oh, Skip had a story idea. Okay, well, let me get back to the page here. He says, have wrench will travel. Stories about a mechanic that is running away from corporations that took offense to his finding out about simple fixes to bring big money, maker malfunctions. Okay. Now, I will say this. Once humans become spacefaring, it's going to be very, very difficult for people to hide the technology. Now, one of the main things, and I did mention this in one of my stories, say you're on a ship, okay, and you're the whatever crew member you want to say, whether you're the first officer, whether you're the mechanic, whether you're the janitor, whether you're the doc, whatever you are. They if you find out something to make the ship more efficient, that knowledge is actually going to belong to the one who owns the ship. And they can sell said technology, said upgrades to whomever they choose, which means every single upgrade is initially going to be worth money. However, it's a good possibility that people will just say, you know what, screw you. I'm just going to put this information out for everybody to use. And it will be very, 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 very difficult to stop that sort of data leak. And he continues with each episode could figure or feature the mechanic finding fixes while traveling through the universe. This series could be funny, sad, and dangerous for the mechanic and others. Yeah. Again, now I will say I'm not going to do any series till I get downstairs, and I can't move downstairs until I get the electrical and the desk in, and I can't do the desk until the electrical's done because the desk is going to be too fucking huge. So, yeah. It's bad enough I actually have to order it and say, hey, can you bring it here and assemble it? Because I can't do it with this fucked up shoulder. Let's see. Lena says, I think I remember the anime with the male character who wanted to go to school to find himself a wife, but also found his annoying sister. There are many that fall into that category. He continues, there's also the Otome game with two female lesbians. I can't say the actual word here. We'll get flagged. A commoner and a noble trope. That is, again, that is so common, guys. When I see shit like that, it doesn't matter if it was a manga. It doesn't matter if it was an anime. If I saw that back when I was reading a lot of those, I just stopped. I just like, no. If I wanted to watch some ecchi shit, I would watch ecchi shit. If I want to watch hentai, which I never actually do because a lot of it is disturbing, then I would watch that. I know, shit. Is it kind of cool to have, every guy's like, hey, two women who actually like each other enough that they would share me without getting jealous. This is cool. Ain't gonna happen, but it'd be kind of cool. But yeah, when it comes to these going to an academy, because we all know how important school is with Japanese, then yeah, finding a noble and a commoner who is interested in you is unbelievably commonplace, especially once you have a character who is up in status or up in wealth. Either one of those, you can literally choose throughout the entire school who you want to be with. I mean, it's that same, I'm so much better. It's a power fantasy. That's the word I was looking for. It's a power fantasy. You just have to make sure you don't accidentally run into the meat stick maiden. Then you be diving through a window going, no, thank you. Pew! See, Joseph says, Reavers are kind of unique. Emotion-free ferals. It might be the HFY archetype for human predators. Yeah. I could see that. He also says, is it a bad time to point out the Wheel of Time new series? They're going to make a World of Tanks into a child-friendly... What? Well, they kind of already did with, what the hell? Girls with Panzers, I believe is the name. Something like that. So they did actually turn World of Tanks into a anime where the only ones who are piloting or fixing or doing anything with these tanks, and these are World War II tanks, are teenage girls. No. Honestly, if I was in charge of that, I would have kind of let that slide for about one season. And then when they come back, have them all like, okay, now you can have your crew. They can't pilot, but they can be your crew. Guys can come in and fix them. And then there you have all you're like, oh, we're piloting the tanks and everything. But hey, there's a little bit of jealousy going on because they like this certain guy who's able to lift up a turret with his bare hands, or however that the fuck is supposed to be. That could really add something to it. But the whole girls and Panzer thing, which sounds a lot like what they're trying to do, it got monotonous because you knew who was going to win already. I mean, power sliding a tank, can it be done? Yeah. Would what happened to that thing physically happen if you power slid a tank? Yeah. If you know what I'm talking, if you know the scene I'm talking about, you know the damage that's done. But the whole idea of a Tiger tank whipping its turret around that fast is a freaking joke, because that was the biggest complaint out of everything that the Germans gave for the Tiger, is the fact that that turret moves so freaking slow. They could almost never fire that thing on the move. It's just, you're better off just pivot steering and aim towards something, which I think was the idea because there was so much armor on the front of those. Bite Me says, have you heard about the boxes of ticks infected with alpha-gal syndrome and Lyme disease being dumped out in the plains? Alpha-gal and Lyme disease are two very different things. Lyme's disease, which is named after Lyme, Connecticut, where the first cases were, because they're right off of Plum Island. And, guess where I am? That makes you very lethargic. It's like having mono, but stronger. It's just, it just zaps you, completely just zaps you. Alpha-gal messes up your internal in your digestive system, where if you have any type of animal protein, you are violently getting sick. I mean, projectile vomiting. It won't even get far enough where you get diarrhea. It will just be like somebody just said, eject, 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 and out you go. And the thing, when they did this, and when I say they, there are people that have a timetable that they want to stay on for certain things to happen. They're already shutting down the airports because it's getting too expensive to fly. They're already calling in and knowing a $10 super chat from an SS Demon. I think I summoned him. Oops. And hey, I clicked on that. And he comes in with a $10 super chat. He says, starting this Sunday, we are finally getting another third shift QC. So once he is settled in and comfortable with being left alone, so in about a month or so, I should be able to be back for live streams. And people keep asking him if he's back, but right now he can't say he's back. Yeah. And let me write you down here, Demon. And thank you for at least dropping in. Everybody say hi to the Demon. You crazy wing flapping, tail whipping crazy guy. And as I look down here, thanks again, Demon. And we got Douglas down here saying Alpha Gal can also cause anaphylactic shock. Yes, it can. Yes, absolutely, positively it can. And it's not your normal anaphylactic shock. It is violent and it is very rapid. Okay, most people that go in that I've ever seen, because I have seen it a few times, if they go into anaphylactic shock, it takes a while. Just like somebody who's allergic to peanuts, a lot of times they can eat one or two, and it'll take an hour or two before they actually require a shot of something to, shut them down. With Alpha Gal, you got minutes. You actually, you'll be lucky to have plural in minutes. It is just very bad, and he's 100,000% right on that. Anyway, jumping back up here, Erica saying Halo is pro-military. Sort of, yeah. It is and it isn't at the same time, because it shows all the fucked up shit that happened, like the fact that the Master Chief, John 117, was actually kidnapped at 6 years old because his genetics just happened to line up a certain way. So, yeah. Deathbed says, maybe I'm way off, but the failing CEO being hired for another company stinks to me of money laundering. It's pretty close. It's, again, it's one of those, depending on who you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know situations. And they literally cover each other. They know each other's dark secrets. They know where the skeletons are buried, literally. So, yeah. Let's see. Draven's here says, good evening, sinners. Sorry for being absent in the comments and live, but been under the weather past few weeks and still had to go to work. All right. On that one, dude, I keep one of these around in case I get sick. Tonic water, my friend. Okay. You want to make sure, and here I should have the label on it. Whatever. You want to make sure it has quinine in it. Okay. Tonic water in and of itself is medicine. It was never meant to be a drink to get slammed drunk on. This has the quinine that will actually, once quinine touches viruses, they shrivel and die. The thing is, if you put too much in your system, you'll actually show signs of heavy metals, and it'll take a while before your body actually flushes it out. So, you got to find the balance. So, yeah, take care of yourself, Draven, and hopefully you like the little twist at the end of a certain story over the past week. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Leonid says, people thought that the character, female android from Stellar Blade, was too young, but actually she was just probably Korean. And yeah, to American eyes, most Asians look very young. And honestly, it wasn't so bad for me until I got to about 34-ish. And then I would see even Asian women my age look so young. I'm like, I feel like the dirty old man just talking to you. What the hell? I mean, don't get me wrong. They're hot that usually you can tell that voice to shut the fuck up. But still, yeah. And it's just... Now, if they want to talk about young characters, maybe they should go back and look at Sailor fucking Moon. Okay, I remember when that came out, I was like early in high school. And it was a huge hit. I mean, massively huge hit in the US. And a lot of girls liked it. They would actually have their boyfriends sit there and watch it with them. And most guys would be like, somebody hand me a beer. I don't care if I'm underage. Somebody give me something to get me through this bullshit. And then you find out that Sailor Moon, canonically speaking, is 14 years old. I'm not even joking. They pulled that shit off the air so fast when that came out. I was like, holy crap, you guys need to do your due diligence more, because apparently somebody who was from Japan actually raised that up as a concern, and the studio freaked the fuck out. The American studio that had bought the rights is like, oh, you bastards. We were making a lot of money on this. We were going to bring out dolls. We were going to do this with the wands and all this other bullshit because it's a magic show. And nope. All that money just poof, went bye-bye. So yeah, you got to be careful on that. And that's why a lot of people aim for the quote-unquote legal lolly. And I'm just like, guys, I'm sorry, but no. I was actually supposed to go on a date with somebody who had a case of dwarfism, and I had to tell her, I'm sorry. You're a great person. I enjoy talking to you, but there's no way I could physically hold you. And she's like, oh, what the hell? You think you're too big for me? I'm like, no. I would, in my mind, I can't separate your size from a younger woman. At first, she thought it was a compliment. I'm like, no, this makes me feel gross. I'm sorry. So we did hang out a little bit more, but I'm sorry, no. Just nope. Sniper says, hey, I gotta sleep. Good night, everybody. Well, good night, game War Sniper. I'll catch you next time. Alan says, paint the elephant and put a beer logo on the side. No one will ever know the elephant in the room. Yeah, why not? A little camouflage. Let's see. Lena says, anime always makes adventure into the job description because of the Japanese video games. Yeah, that's true. Everybody has to be a quote-unquote adventurer. When in actuality, you're just some sort of strange laborer.
All hands to battle stations.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
That is another $10 super chat from Skip. And he says, to lose weight safely, I suggest the Printikin diet. Please remember sailors rarely got to run any distance. And this diet. Oh, use this diet to pass PTs. Before I found this, I was about to get into the fat boy group. Now, are there plenty of diets that will work like this? Yes. I am not familiar at all with the Printikin diet. You know, I'm going to write that down. Printikin diet. All right. And this is what I was saying about American cuisine. A lot of these people that are enjoying America are going to go back and go, how come I'm 10, 15 pounds heavier? What the hell's going on? One of the key things, if you're trying to lose weight, is not just going and burning a whole bunch of calories. Will that work? Yes, but it takes a while if you do it too fast. If you go and try to burn calories too fast, your body's going to say, whoa, I need to store more calories. So suddenly you're going to get fatter. It's just something that the the body does. If you slowly work into it, you're going to do a lot better. I'm still, because of my shoulder, I'm just barely doing anything in the gym. However, you know what they say, the only bad workout is the one that didn't happen. That being said, your diet has to change. Cut out as much of your sugars as possible, as much of the carbohydrates as possible. All the pre whatever full of, or the, what am I talking about? Anything that seems to be chemically processed, you know, like fast food or whatever, you got to be careful on what oils you use, if you use oils at all. Believe it or not, if you're going to deep fry, beef tallow is going to work wonderfully. And me personally, I think it makes my fries just so good, just absolutely so good. As soon as you start using lard to bake with and beef tallow to fry with, and yes, there is a difference between the two, then when you go back and somebody uses canola oil, you know what you're going to taste? Chemicals and petroleum. That's the only thing you're going to taste, and you're going to be grossed out because you're finally tasting what it actually tastes like. Okay, it's just, yeah. Oh, he's down here. He says the Printikin diet created by Nathan Printikin emphasizes low fat, high fiber foods combined with daily exercise to prevent and manage cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hypertension, and obesity. All those seem to go together. As far as high fiber food, that's your carbohydrates that are not overprocessed. So if you're going to have bread, it is the darker breads. A lot of the actual grains, if they're not actually ground down, your body can't process them. They'll just go right through you. Anyways, let me go back up here. Douglas says, I had to go to the emergency room Monday. Docs think I had what's known as a mini transient stroke. Oh, fuck me. Fortunately, he said I have no damage. That's the same thing that happened to my dad. Okay. And honestly, I know what that's from. You know, the thing that it was, the skeeter bite, so to speak, that you guys got. You know, the kind of they put something in you. Me personally, I even told the guys at the VA when they were going to put, you know, parts of me back together. I said, look, if I find out you put that chemical in me, I will come back here and I will kill every single one of you. And they laughed. I'm like, look, I have been to Iraq. I'm not dying because one of you guys decides to put a chemical I refuse to accept in my body. And they thought it was funny. I was like, try me, see what happens. And no joke, one of the guys actually looked, and he pulls up my chart. He goes, wait a minute, what's your MOS again? It's like infantry. How many times you been deployed? 3. Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. It's not going to happen. I'm hoping they didn't when I was asleep, because honestly, I don't trust those guys as far as I can throw them. But it is what it is. And there's Douglas saying how anaphylaxis can kick in from alpha gal. You're right. Demon says, I miss you guys. Cannot wait to get back full time. Have a good night. Back to work I go. Hi ho, hi ho. It's back to work he goes. And I need another drink because, again, it is friggin' hot in here. Maybe when I move downstairs and it gets cooler, it'll be a lot easier. Lena says, War Thunder has a new game mode where people can fly away with jet aircraft and dropping nukes. I thought they could always drop nukes once you got a certain amount of the KD ratio. Isn't that like an instant win of the game? If you drop the nuke, whether or not you drop it on your own people, you just have to get it within a certain distance of the points. I still thought it was really messed up that War Thunder, just like so many other of these games, that the characters, or I shouldn't say characters, but the people who are playing, you're playing a war simulation. Okay, this isn't a video game. They're trying to get as close as they can. And you got people who decided to actually get the bombers and do an exact perfect bombing run, and they get booted for it. I'm like, what the fuck? That's like those guys with the Battlefield 1, where they went in and they all got the engineer class with the mortar system. And they all knew, hey, if you're locked onto a target, everybody, here's your sector. And they literally said, set, hang it. And they everybody get it. Fire one. And they all went up and hit there. Fire two. And somebody's usually watching with a sniper rifle. And it's not a sniper, it's a sniper's rifle. And they'd be like, okay, add 50, fire for effect. And it's just doop, 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 right after another. And they're like, yep, we got to move in. And they were just killing just right through everybody. And those guys got booted, and they actually got banned from what I heard. And now I don't know if the ban got restricted. And I really wish I had the actual link to this so I could show it to you guys. But that was just fucked up. That was just genuinely fucked up. But anyways, the bombers, what they started to do is they tried to actually attack them in groups, and they would dive in and try to dive in. But the guys who did the bombers were real smart. They would actually go up. They would do a full circle, gaining altitude. So they're way up there. So unless you had something that was jet powered and something that could just nose up and go, and most aircraft still can't do that. You know, they got to be at an angle. You're not catching them by the time they drop their shit. You might be able to get them on the way back because they have to drop altitude really, really fast. And oddly, I thought the funny part was the main loss of aircraft was they would come down, they would try to level off, air brakes on, full flaps, engines in reverse, and they're still too fast. They hit the runway, lock the brakes, and they still skitter off the back end. I'm like, well, that's what happens when you drop down from 30,000 feet to ground level in like 2 minutes. Okay, that's enough of me ranting on that one. Douglas says, found out in Warhammer there is an entire planet that is like Australia with respect to wildlife and plants. I literally just saw another AI thumbnail where they're like, oh no, the alien invasion happened, but they landed in Australia, the horror. I'm like, yeah, if you're not ready for, things that bite, hop, sting, and all the other stuff. Alina says, yeah, Sailor Moon also has a 900-year-old child with the father syndrome that was in season 2. Dude, you just lost me. I think I saw an episode of it when I was a kid. And I still remember when they did the transformation, I'm like, wait a minute. I know you're not seeing any actual curves. It's just an outline, but why are these young girls naked? No, click. Let's see. Guard says, oh, they finally done it with War Thunder. We have 6 anime girl tanks now with anime girl pilots and crews and voice actors. Oh my God. Oh, I find it funny with some of it because the American tank driver is the only one wearing a bikini while the other ones are wearing tactical gear or winter gear. Wow. And they couldn't even bother to put him in that stupid school suit that they always seem to wear. I've only seen, when I was in Korea, I saw a woman wear that one time. And I literally asked the Katusas, is that what you actually wear in school? They're like, yeah, why? I'm like, I can see through that. They're like, no, you can't. And the thing is, I was like, yes, I can. And I dove off the diving board. By the time I came back up, there's one of the guys climbing out and go, yeah, from up here, you can see right through that shit. And the thing is, the girl couldn't, I don't think she could speak English because we were not being quiet. And sure enough, when the Katusas walked over, told her, she's sitting there like, no, they can't. No, they can't. I'm looking at her like, yeah, we can. And that was actually one of the other Katusas came over and said, how can you see through that? And honestly, I don't know how we could, but every American could see right through that shit. Not like perfect X-ray vision, but certain things were pretty obvious were shaded different. You know, not full blonde blazer sticking out, but still, yeah. She didn't care. I mean, hell, the Catusas were wearing fucking Speedos, which I thought was disgusting, but whatever. To each their own. Now, as far as the American one wearing a bikini and everyone else is wearing tactical gear, that might have been a shot against the U.S., saying that all our women have zero morals. But I really don't know. That could go either way. That could be they're either trying to show us in a good light, saying, hey, look how attractive our women are, or it could be something along the lines of, like I said, showing, oh, all the women over there have loose morals. And I guarantee the one in the bikini was kind of bouncing with the suspension. Let's see. Skip says, he's talking about his diet. He says it's intended as a lifelong lifestyle rather than a short-term diet, which they all are, with certain exceptions, of course, and has been supported by over 100 studies demonstrating its benefits for weight management and chronic disease prevention. And I still need to...
all hands to battle stations.
As I go over here with Skip with another sin. Heads up, I'm going to ask your opinions about the speed of light next Wednesday. I'll definitely come with my guns loaded. Calculus not needed, as is part of the problem. Now, the thing with, I will say this, when it comes to the speed of light, I'm going to say it straight up. The speed of light has already been proven that it can be broken. Okay, back when I was a kid, some guy was able to make light move faster than light. Don't ask me exactly how he did it, because I'm not exactly sure. Something about relays and focuses and stuff like that. However, this proved that once you reach a certain point in technology, the laws of physics are suggestions. This is why chaos math is called chaos math. That's just the way it goes. That being said, how do I put this? A lot of people don't want to agree that the laws of physics are not a rock solid law. They change once you get to certain points, especially when you get to the quantum level. Holy yikes, the things change. It's hard for me to actually explain. I can understand it. It's very hard for me to explain it. But we'll just have to save it for next Wednesday. All right. Where was I? Somewhere around here. Okay. I just saw this guard. He's actually continuing his earlier rant. It says, but yeah, we have an American tank girl, German anime tank girl, British anime tank girl, French anime tank girl, Chinese and Russian anime tank girls. France and Italy are left without any. Well, that shouldn't be too off, especially it depends on what era they're going for with these tanks, because if they're going for World War II, the French, their biggest tank was either the Churchill or the Tankette. And the Italian tanks were the only other tanks that were worse than the Italian tanks were Japanese. And the Japanese tanks could be punched through with regular rifle rounds. Leon says, technically, a Halo movie was an anime. I can think of one that's not. You know, the one where they did Forward Unto Dawn, where Lasky was a cadet. That was all live action. There was only a few parts that were actually really good. the run with or the Warhog run they did, that was really good. The fight against the Hunter, that was done really well. Well, good enough. But yeah, I didn't see a whole lot of too many special effects in that. Leonard also says the new video trailer for the new game mode is very new. It's called Nuclear Thunder. Haven't seen it. I'll have to take your word for it. Maybe I'll look it up here. Douglas says during World War II, American artillery would destroy entire German tank regiments using time on target. Yes, that's one of the reasons why our units were so devastating. And that's one of the few areas where we outperformed everyone else. Our mobile artillery systems were so much better than everybody else. It's actually kind of spooky. The only weapon system that was on par or surpassed us was the German 88. However, that was not a mobile, not truly. And hell, that thing wasn't even originally designed to aim at planes, but they're like, hey, point this up. Let's see if you can hit something. Anyways, and for anyone who doesn't know what time on target is, that's like if you have a mortar system, heavy artillery, and you have cruise missiles, all have to hit at the same time. You stagger their fire, the longest range, the medium range to close range, so that they all strike at the same time. That's time on target, and it is absolutely devastating. I can't say I've ever been on it in reality. I played a few games where they did time on target, and we were just like, what the fuck? Over? Like, seriously, what the fuck? And yeah. It's absolutely crazy. See, Douglas says up to 5,000 shells impacting the same area at the same time. Yeah, you might as well just drop a nuke and get it over with at that point. Let's see. Chris also says, I'm just back unloaded, moved and stacked a full cord. Yeah. I actually got about half a cord outside. If I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm hoping by the end of the weekend, I'm out back splitting at least a cord, if not 2 cord of wood. Because I need to have it split, stacked, and everything ready for the winter. And as dry as it's been, it's going to be perfect for drying this wood out. But the wood's already been on the ground for a long time. It's pretty dry already. Anyways, Lena says, I probably know Sailor Moon is probably kind of really cool and dark during the last season. The villain would turn other people into dust when they die. Hopefully they didn't see it coming. I mean, that's just... Yeah, it's just... That's... I hate to say it, but a lot of anime hits a lot harder than American animation does by a long shot. Let's see. Leonid also says the information is probably easier to accelerate to light speed than mass. Well, yeah, especially once you use tachyons and you also use quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is instant regardless of range. It's actually amazing. I thought it was a line of bullshit until I watched how it worked. I was like, damn, that's kind of cool. Now, sending information, again, tachyons or using a tachyon wave is so much easier. Why? Basically, it's a faster than light radio wave. I mean, there's no easier way than explaining it than that. I mean, it's much more complicated, but that's the basic explanation. Yeah, never mind temporal or dimensional physics. That's where it's, again, chaos math, guys. Things get really funky. Skip says, he's talking to Leonid. Yes and no. I will go into it next Wednesday. FYI, one of my stories that I wrote in college got killed by the teacher because of that reasoning. Oh, don't forget, a lot of these teachers, and unfortunately, I'm related to a teacher, so I don't want to say too much against them. However, I will say most teachers, if it doesn't come out of a book, they will not, absolutely not back it up. Okay, the teacher is there to basically say, I'm the one in charge, memorize this. However, most of the time their stuff has either been disproven or it's just out of date, or however you want to put it. And they just, oh shit, hold on, I hit my microphone. But one of the main things is teachers, just like a lot of scientists, don't want to be told they're wrong. That's one of the key things. If they say the sky is purple, you better agree with them or they'll fail you. I mean, most teachers are very vindictive that way. So, yeah, that's one of the things. Again, the only he was a professor, not a teacher. The only professor that actually showed interest in making sure everybody knew what the hell was going on with what you're talking about, Skip, is a physics professor I knew, and he was. A lot of people thought he was loopy, but the thing is, once you actually sat down and listened to him, everything he said makes sense. And that's the same guy I told you guys about, who's like, why aren't you in my class? You understand temporal physics better than anybody else. I'm like, I can't do the math. I never learned how. I can teach you how. You need to learn that shit young. There's Chris saying, but wait, what song plays when the French tank girl gets into battle? I'm thinking that thing about Think Up by Juvenile? I don't even know what you're talking about. Honestly, I'm lost. Hold on, I thought somebody was outside. Hey, did you call for me? No, apparently not. Sorry, I have other people living in the house. Anyways, let's see. Erica says speed of light is a bunch of quantum science stuff and is a recommendation till you get a better knowledge about light itself. Okay. Even Skip's jumping in. Yes, although I am in doubt that there being more than 4 dimensions. I've never had a actual real honest to God explanation of 5th dimension, because how do you I don't understand how you would go beyond 4. I've never had anybody actually explain that to me. Now the weird thing is, if you watch Monsters Inc., then you know exactly how 4th dimension works. 4th dimensional space is space within space. So how do you, is it time within time? Is it depth within depth? How would 5th dimension space work? It doesn't, it kind of blows my mind on that one. Anyways, Lena's up here says, I remember how Russians wanted to create dual barrel artillery because it kind of makes sense, but it was too expensive to deploy, so it lost a barrel. Well, they also wanted to make dual barrel tanks at one point. And I thought this was funny because even looking at it, I knew what the problem was going to be. If you got your optics down 1, you have no idea where that second shot's going to be unless you just fired the first one. The idea was to be able to punch through something even as big as a mouse or moss, or however you want to pronounce that. That being said, it didn't work because you couldn't, unless you literally moved from one optic to the other, you couldn't aim the damn thing correctly. Not to mention you needed additional crewmen, like 2 additional crewmen for that. Because you would need a tank commander, 2 gunners, 2 loaders, one driver. So this what, 6 personnel instead of 3? Or what, 5? Whatever. Oh, Johnny on the spot over here. And we got Skip with another. Oh, shit. I just jabbed myself with my pen. Fun. Skip with another $10 super chat. He says, Sin, yes, I agree. And the discussion needs to be done next week. Yeah, I'm just reading the chats. I'm not adding anything to it. And there you go. I mean, I'm marking it down here. So you got your. That's 5. So you got your extra week there, Skip. So even if you do miss next week, you're good. So thank you again. Appreciate it. And let me just run up here real quick. Oh, yeah. Leonid's saying what the French girl, the actual song, the baguette song. Baguettes are Italian. No, they are French. God damn it. Whew. Let's see. Douglas says, dimensional physics gets really freaky when you add up the other physics and fractional and see fractional physics. Yeah. It gets, wow. It'll hurt your brain sometimes. It really will. He continues with, William, there have been proven to be 37 dimensions minimum. Now, on that one, Douglas, I do have to say, are we talking 37 dimensions or are we talking 37 realities? You know, because that can be 2 different things. Okay, now if there's 37 actual different dimensions, my brain is going to implode trying to figure all of them out without somebody trying to explain this to me. He continues saying, the math proving it gives me a headache. I would assume so. You know, I've done that before. I've just been focusing so much that my brain physically hurts. Alan says, one thing you do have to remember about science is science's rules are only hard rules is when people find out that they did the math wrong. Yeah. And again, these guys, these professors, these teachers, everybody else does not want to be proven wrong. Ever. They do not want somebody to go up, oh, you were wrong on this. You've been disproven. Their quote unquote reputation, they believe will not be able to sustain it because that's what they've been told their entire life. They have to go by the status quo or else they will be pushed out of the community in disgrace. Well, I'm sorry, motherfucker, but that's what the scientific community is supposed to do. You're supposed to come up with a theory and test it. If it proves itself correct for a while, and then you find out that there was an unknown variable, that's not a mess up on the original person unless that variable was beyond obvious. Ugh. I still don't understand why they're like that. Because at least to me, that's why when somebody comes up and they're trying to figure, like when I was in service and they were trying to figure out a maneuver, they were trying to figure out call signs, they were trying to figure out how to use this piece of equipment. Screwing up is normal. I expect that's what training is for, and that's what they don't realize. It's basically the same thing or the same context. So anyway, Skip's up here saying, what are the one of the 4? Hold on. What are the ones above 4 names and functions? By the way, I have had arguments with my professors on this and other subjects. Yeah, you got me. I don't know anything above 4. I've never even talked to anybody about it. And here's Guard talking about the bikini tank driver here. The one with the bikini was bouncing, Sin. My boy, she was a jiggle house, a bouncy house, 2 fat water balloons being lightly smacked. I can keep doing it. I don't know if YouTube reads this stuff. As long as you're not saying something too obvious, I mean, you'd have to be right on the nose. I mean, even the word knockers, because it is an actual device, you can't actually stop that from being used, like snack tray, torpedo head, something like that. Saying when somebody gets cold, saying turkey's done. That's they can't stop that one. Let's see. Chris also says, back that thing up by Juvenile. Girl, you look good. Won't you back that thing up? You fine ass motherfucker. You won't back that thing. What? Oh, it's a rap or reggae song. Okay. I don't ever remember hearing it, honestly, because that's not the type of music I listen to. Actually, I don't listen to too much music, but still, yeah, I think that would kind of work in that situation, though. That would. Oy. You guys are on two different subjects. My brain has to go from right side to left side constantly. Lean says multiple dimensions are designed to be described by math. Okay. By math equations. Yeah, I don't speak in those terms anymore. I used to be really good at it, and then I got drugged up. Not deliberately. This was stuff that I had to get because of to go to this school, you have to get this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and take this other stuff. I'm like, yeah, douchebags. It's no wonder I couldn't do math anymore. Douglas says, I don't know the names or functions, William. I know NASA and CERN both proved it. Boy. Yeah, CERN has been able to prove a lot of stuff they won't tell us about. Chris says the ZSU had two variants with 4 barrels. Talking about the I think it was artillery. Full in 2 or 20 or 30 millimeter and dual 75 millimeter believe anti-air cannons. Yikes. That's a lot of guns. Lena says the artillery is supposed to have a automatic reload system for the 2 barrels. Those auto reload systems almost never fucking work. I'm going to tell you that straight up. They are so touchy. I mean, it is just absolutely crazy. Just absolutely nuts. And then Guards here says, to answer your question, they're dealing with modern day tanks like the Abrams, the T-90, the Type, whatever the fuck, China, and the Leopard, and so on and so forth. And thank you, Chris, for saying this before I did. The Chinese tanks are a joke. Oh, God. If you guys haven't seen it, I suggest you look it up, where the Chinese were trying to sell their tanks to Russia. They were putting the tanks through their paces, and the road wheel fell off because the axle holding it couldn't hold the pressure. It just bent sideways and it was wobbling, and then it snapped off and rolled out. Now, granted, the tank still moved because it's still a Caterpillar track, but still, it's just like, what the shit? When your buyer is laughing at you, you know you're screwed. And we're talking billions of dollars they lost because of that. Let's see. Leon says, if cube is 3 dimensions, then the hypercube is supposed to have extra dimension. The thing is, if you actually want to be specific, because we have time against us, you can consider us a 4th dimension. But the thing is, trying to explain 3 dimensions to a lot of people is actually kind of funny because they never quite get it. They're like, but I see in 3 dimensions. No, you don't. You see in 2 dimensions. You just have depth perception. Close one eye and walk around. So you can't find where everything is. Well, guess what? See, Chris says, we actually destroyed 7 of the dimensions with the collider experiments, and they think that we're That's where some of the Mandela effects come from. It's some type of temporal bleeding into our reality. Dude, you're making my head hurt. Keep it coming, but you're making my head hurt. How could I don't see how we could destroy an entire dimension like that. That's weird. Now, as far as the Mandela effects, I personally believe that people are using a temporal displacement, i.e., time travel machine. And when they do, and believe it or not, a cartoon mentioned about this. Now, I'm not, and it was from the Flash, the Reverse Flash, and he was saying how you set off an explosion, or you go faster than the speed of sound, sonic boom. You go fast enough and you go into change time, there's a time boom where things will adjust as you go through. Now, is that it? Or is it the fact that somebody went back and deliberately changed it? I don't know. But me personally, I think the Mandela effects are somebody went back and they changed something somewhere along the lines. They either mentioned something or didn't mention something or whatever it was, and it just changed things. Guard says Chinese tanks got firepower, and even then that's questionable because their newest one demonstrated after 10 shots, and that's supposed to be the Abrams killer. They call it, or the Abrams kills, they call it. That's supposed to be the tank that will be the destroyer and direct counter to the Abrams, where they can't even get the thing to shoot without possibly exploding. Shocker, considering their jets are not powerful enough to get off the deck of their own aircraft carrier without a catapult, a scoop, and no ordnance. And that's if those damn things fly at all. Let's see. Doe says, Chris, could that be where some of the cryptic, or it's cryptids, not cryptic, showing up from? And I personally think it's possible. The cryptids were already here. They're part of the reason why we have the national parks. There's also some preserved, but rather contained. I don't have much of an opinion on that one. I don't have enough to say much on that. Leonid says, oh, the bubblegum cat girl and the bikini and M16 rifle. American cat girl in War Thunder. Okay. I'm lost on that. Douglas, if you want to find... hold on. If you want to really have fun with math, mix realities and dimensional physics all together. And oy vey the headache. Yes, I have done. Remember, I told you with temporal physics, not just dimensional physics. And yes, I have actually had to sit down because my head was just firing on so many cylinders. It was just, I think I went up a few extra percentages on how much of my brain I used. Lena's saying, I've only seen the Chinese tank meme. Continues, says, we have merged the timelines somehow and why people are having Mandela effects. It's possible. It is possible. Like I said, if there's different dimensions and they're merging together, then yes, that is a possibility. Which is why there's such a thing as, they say there's such a thing as quantum immortality, where you literally blink out and you blink into another dimension at the moment where you're not actually supposed to die, but it kind of swaps you. Chris says, also the Chinese stealth J-20, what a piece of joke, are only stealth if they're flying directly at the radar. If they turn or raise or lower altitude, they're visible. And the J-35s are pathetic. Yes, a fucking men on that. Because you are 100% right there, Chris. You are 150% right. The J-20 is a bad bar joke, and the J-35, if that thing can even move, is pathetic. It's massive. It can't maneuver worth nothing. You get in a dogfight with it, God help it. They might as well just eject and say, fuck this thing. Supposedly, in the Top Gun movie, they were fighting J-20s. And I'm like, no. Well, actually, I was saying no through most of that because a lot of it didn't make sense. Like the whole pulling some sort of weird Cobra flip maneuver so the missile flies by. That missile is a proximity fuse. It would have blown up right next to it. It would have taken the half the plane apart just from overpressure. But still, it's no, it's just it doesn't work. The thing is the J-57 is just they're just shells. They don't actually fly. Leon says people probably also experience a time dimension automatically. Yeah, sort of. Now, I've known plenty of people that if they can calm themselves enough, which is why this usually happens when they sleep, they actually see different time, as in they will see the future. And it's been known to freak a lot of them out. We had one kid in school. It happened to him all the time to the point where he was just like, I don't want to. And he would actually sneak into the cupboard at night and take like a half a shot of NyQuil or something, or Robitussin, just to make sure he didn't dream. You know, I mean, man's got to do what a man's got to do, but man, that's messed up for a kid. So anyways, before we go anywhere, let me see if there's any. Where was I? Let's watch one more video. Yeah, the Lean is over here saying, I thought it was the Su-57 from Top Gun. Maybe it was. Maybe I'm getting them mixed up because they're God, they're a bad joke. They can't fly. They can't get off the fucking ground. I mean, you look at something like an F-15, something that is as old as I am, maybe a little older. You could load that thing up with 2 external fuel tanks, possibly 3, and so much ordnance that the suspension on that thing is bottoming out, and it will still have enough thrust to take off. I mean, and the new F-15EX is just, boy, that thing is scary. I looked at some of the numbers and I'm just like, remind me not to piss these guys off. And I will probably never fly second seat because they're going to shove my stomach through my ass. It's just, yikes. But yeah, they just can't get them in the air, which is why every time I see, like, I don't know if you guys seen on YouTube, the Grim Reapers, they used to do a lot of that air combat shit. I'm like, here, let's do it right. Take the number that China says they have, cut that down by about 70, say about 75% is non-functional. So you only have about 25% up and running, and give them half the ordnance. So we'll be nice. And we'll put their pilot level in the toilet where it should be. And, and whatever their ordnance, like the range and everything, cut that down by at least 20%. It'll be nice and just say 10. And then you have to raise our ordnance up by about the same, by about 10 to 20%, and all this craziness, because again, they lie about their numbers so much. It's crazy. And you can see aerial pictures of the Su-57. What the fuck? The hell was that? Yeah, I think it was a share or something. But anyways, the all these different planes, they can't get off the ground. It's whatever. I'm just going to move down here with Bite Me, where it says light speed is not a limit. It's a constant. You can go faster than light speed. Yes, you can. You just have to build up to it. It's not just put me in warp, fuck it, and engage. You know, it doesn't work that way. Chris here says, with the sleep time viewing, there's always a way to do it safely if the frequency is played. There's a thing online which intentionally wrong, but there's an older one that is correct. What the? Am I missing something? Now, if you're talking like binaural beats, you won't find any of that on YouTube because all you find actually is new age music. And that stuff, it actually raises and lowers. There's like different sways and stuff. Binaural beats are two just solid tones, one in each ear. And yeah, that's different. Let's see. He also says Edgar Casey had a way of doing it where it could be focused, but you don't know how. But I don't know how. Yeah. Lena's still talking about the Su-57. I see a version air shows, but it's only a prototype. Probably the only one they have in the air, honestly. It's just absolutely crazy. Anyway, guys, we've been going for just over 2.5 hours. I'm going to wait until see if there's any other comments. And also throw on a little bit extra media here. Where the hell was I? I was there. Now I'm here. That was a big caliber to swat it with. All right, looks like we're pretty much done with the comment section here. So, on that note, let me throw my little chickies on here, and we'll pretty much end it for the night. I'm gonna end it with the safety brief, like I always do. And actually, hold on. What the fuck? No, I think we're good on that one. Yeah. Anyways, you guys all know if you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, beat their motherfucking ass. It's a whole lot easier to explain to the cops why you just broke your buddy's nose than to explain to his boss that he won't come in because he broke his back. Was it Alan? Got some save time for a story tonight. So good night, one and all. Okay. Yep. Also, if your little soldier's going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. It gets wet in there if you know what you're doing. Also, guys, stay away from the hard stuff. It's just not worth it. I actually have to give a certain person a lecture on how dumb he's being because he's starting to get into the harder stuff. And I really want to beat somebody's ass over that one. Anyways, also, again, be careful on the roads, guys, especially some people like today. I almost got run off the road because some jackass was on their phone. Didn't realize when you're going through the curves, I don't care what it is. You just drop your phone and pay attention. A lot of people ain't doing that. So it's not really the varmints and deer and everything else on the road. It's the other drivers who ain't paying attention. And I'd rather see all you guys here next time. Same syntax time, same syntax channel. Wow, my tongue hurts after saying that. And I will see all of you next time. Take care of yourselves, everybody. And this is your host,